What's up, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Top 5. With the ever-present threat of the virus that shall not be named, many people are choosing to self-isolate themselves to stay healthy and help flatten the curve. However, staying indoors presents its own set of challenges. Boredom becomes a beast gnawing at your last nerve, and for many, entertaining yourself becomes a Herculean task. But fear not, my fellow cabin-fevered lovers of film and TV. Disney has our backs once again. Disney has been telling these stories of isolation and loneliness for decades. If you think you have it bad, having a self-quarantine with your smelly Aunt Bertha, consider for a moment what it was like for some of Disney's most beloved characters, who have brought home the gold in social distancing. From stories about tiny garbage collection robots looking for love, to beautiful ice queens self-quarantining, there's no shortage of these stellar stories of the lonely life in Disney's vault. That's why we are counting down our top 5 Disney characters living in isolation. So join us as we break down the best of the best when it comes to being alone in some of Disney's most iconic isolation incidents. So Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair so we can climb on in. Number 5. Sleeping Beauty. The curse is cast, the magic is real, and one kiss will change everything. Beauty, wonder, and thrilling adventure spin together in a grand legend that transcends time as the evil and jealous enchantress Maleficent, one of imagination's most spectacular villains, cast a curse on the kingdom's beloved Princess Aurora. Hoping to save the princess, the 3 good fairies, Merryweather, Flora, and Fauna, isolate her to the forest, where they raise her as their own daughter. But it isn't enough, for on her 16th birthday, Aurora pricks her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and falls into a deep, enchanted sleep, just as Maleficent had intended. The good fairies did not give up, and they helped brave Prince Philip, armed with the shield of virtue and the sword of truth, defeat a powerful fire-breathing dragon, rescue Aurora, and break the spell with true love's kiss. Number 4. Beauty and the Beast. Having lived a life in selfishness, young Prince Adam is cursed by a mysterious enchantress, transforming him into a monstrous beast and his staff into random items throughout the mansion. His only hope is to learn to love a young woman and earn her love in return, in order to redeem himself. After 10 years of isolation, his opportunity presents itself when a young maiden named Belle offers to take her ill father Maurice's place as his prisoner. With help from the castle's enchanted staff, Belle learns to appreciate her captor and immediately falls in love with him. Stockholm much? Back in the village, however, the unscrupulous hunter Gaston has his own plans for both Belle and the Beast. And we all know how that ended. Number 3. Frozen. Sisters Anna and Elsa live a privileged life as the heirs to the kingdom of Arendelle. After Elsa comes into her powers, she unleashes her icy vengeance against the people of Arendelle, and the kingdom becomes trapped in perpetual winter. Elsa flees to the mountains and isolates herself in a castle made of ice. In an effort to reverse the curse, Elsa's fearless sister Anna joins forces with mountaineer Kristoff and his trusty reindeer sidekick, Sven, to find her and break her icy spell. Although her epic journey leads them to encounters with mystical trolls, a comedic snowman named Olaf, harsh conditions, and magic at every turn, Anna and gang bravely push onward in a race to save Elsa and their kingdom from winter's icy grasp. Number 2. Tangled. After receiving healing powers from a magical flower, the baby Princess Rapunzel is kidnapped from the palace in the middle of the night by Mother Gothel. Mother Gothel knows that the flower's magical powers are now growing within the golden hair of Rapunzel, and to stay young, she must lock Rapunzel in her hidden tower. Rapunzel is now a teenager, and her hair has grown to the length of 70 feet. The beautiful Rapunzel has been isolated in the tower for her entire life, and she is curious of the outside world. One day, the bandit, Flynn Rider, scales the tower and is knocked unconscious by Rapunzel. Rapunzel strikes a deal with the charming thief to act as her guide to travel to the place where the floating lights come from that she has seen every year on her birthday. Rapunzel is about to have the most exciting and magnificent journey of her life. Number 1. WALL-E. In the 29th century, rampant consumerism and environmental neglect have turned Earth into a garbage-strewn wasteland. Humanity has been evacuated to giant starliners 7 centuries earlier. Of all the robots left by B&L to clean up the mess, only one remains operational: a waste allocation load lifter, Earth class, or WALL-E. One day, WALL-E's routine is broken by the arrival of an unmanned probe carrying an extraterrestrial vegetation evaluator, or EVE, sent to scan the planet for plant life. WALL-E is smitten by this sleek, otherworldly robot, but she goes into standby when he shows her his most recent find, a living seedling. The probe returns to collect Eve and the plant, and with WALL-E clinging on, returns to its mothership, the starliner Axiom. Captain McCree, used to sitting back while his robotic Lieutenant Otto flies the ship, is taken aback by a positive probe response, and learns that placing the plant in the ship's holodetector will trigger a hyperjump back to Earth so humanity can begin recolonization. When he tries to retrieve it, the plant proves to be missing from Eve's storage compartment, and she blames WALL-E for its disappearance. With the plant missing, Eve is deemed faulty and taken to diagnostics. WALL-E proceeds to free her, along with the other faulty robots, causing them to be designated rogue. Frustrated, Eve tries to send WALL-E home on an escape pod, but they are interrupted when Otto's first mate, Go4, arrives and stows the stolen plant in a pod set to self-destruct. WALL-E saves the plant from being lost for good, and he and Eve reconcile, celebrating with a dance in space around the Axiom. Eve brings the plant back to McCree, who watches Eve's recording of Earth and concludes that they must return immediately. However, Otto mutinies, electrocuting WALL-E and shutting Eve down, and he throws them down the garbage chute. McCree struggles with Otto while Eve, who has been reactivated by a mouse robot, helps WALL-E bring the plant to the ship's holodetector. Once he realizes this, Otto crushes WALL-E in the holodetector. But McCree deactivates Otto just in the nick of time, and Eve inserts the plant, initiating a hyperjump. Arriving back on Earth, Eve replaces WALL-E's circuit, but finds that his memory has been reset and his personality is gone. Heartbroken, Eve gives Wally a farewell kiss, which sparks his memory and restores his original personality. Wally and Eve reunite as the humans and robots of the Axiom take their first steps on Earth. During the credits, humans and robots are shown learning to farm, fish, and build, turning the ravaged planet back into a paradise. Well, that's all we have for this edition of Top 5. What are your thoughts on our choices? Who would you consider the top 5? Comment below with your thoughts and answers. And as always, thanks for coming by. We'll see you on the next video.